Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, we're going to dive into a Divine Masculine check-in today and see where are the DMs at with what they think they know about the journey and all things considered. We're also going to look at what the DMs could do to further become more practical and ground this connection into the physical. And then some advice for the masculines and advice for the feminines watching. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the masculines that join me here, us here, regarding how they are perceiving the connection at this time, how they could further bring more practical, grounded reality into this dynamic. What is the advice at this time regarding what we see here for the masculines? And what can we see here for the feminines as far as advice for those wonderful divine feminines connected to the masculines? We'll see here. Okay. Conscious mind about the connections. Okay, balance. So these masculines feel that there is a on the same page new steps being taken by both. They feel like they're stride for stride with their divine feminine on these new higher timelines. So they feel fairly equal with whatever both of you are doing in the physical at this time with the pentacles. So they do see how far you've each come, and they do see how you are connected in some sort of emotion. So there's a real world connection that you're in this together. It's workable. It is productive. They see how, even if you're at a distance in some way, they still see how it's contributing equally at this time. What can the masculine see to bring further grounding to that? Oh, masculines, this is about letting the love in. The Adept of Chalices is the Knight of Cups, and in this depiction, this individual has completely gone under the water, has allowed for it to be there. This wave of emotion is crashing over, so it's about surrendering to being engulfed in the emotion here. So masculines, in order to stabilize this and bring it in further, there's an invitation to allow the emotion to reside here, to be here, I heard. And so while you might think, oh, here we go, it's going to consume me, you've been learning how to swim. Look at how this person's face is already in the water. It doesn't matter how much water is going to come on top of this person. They're already speaking the language, facing it, engulfed in it, so to speak. So masculines, I'm getting from that it's a perceptionary shift, that in order to have gotten this far, you are more adept at emotional navigation than maybe you have seen. Possibly you have been told or professed to be emotionally unavailable, to not have emotions, to not have feelings. This would call you out and say otherwise, masculines. So in the past, some karmic influence may have labeled you as not emotionally available or not in tune with your emotions because they couldn't manipulate you or get you to do what they wanted. And so when you can't be manipulated because you're wiser or more balanced and you're saying no to it, that person will project that it's you that's broken. So I'm getting from many masculines that has happened in the past. And so now that you're on the same page, you have an affinity with your feminine, you're not seeing how adept you really are and how you've become very capable regarding emotional navigation. It's like you're taking that for granted. So feminines, you might be feeling like your masculine is taking you for granted, but it's really that they haven't seen how far they've come regarding emotions. And so it's not an objective experience for them. It's almost almost too familiar in that sense that they don't see, because there's no conflict between the two of you in certain ways. Because you are matching stride for stride, they don't feel the adversity from previous scenarios that would remind them about their emotions. Meanwhile, they're here doing the front crawl and nailing it like an Olympian. What is the advice for the masculines? Two of Swords, Lord of Peace restored. This is in the inverse. So in order to bring balance that you are observing is happening in the physical, you're going to have this deeper recognition as well in order to go and build upon this together. I'm hearing you'll keep walking the same path side by side until you allow and choose to include more of a recognition of the emotional depth, the emotional aspects that are safe to start unpacking here, masculines. So this is a card of blockage in the upright. In the inverse, this is finding your way through. So in the past, you might have had the experience of blocked emotions, and now you might be in denial of the amount of emotion that's actually flowing freely in these connections. This advice is to admit, acknowledge the depth of emotion that you've already accessed here and how it has been smooth and in flow, and how you've outgrown that version of you that was blocked before. So much so that you didn't even notice that you have become much softer and better at swimming. What is the advice for the feminines? Prince of Swords. So this is a card of communication. In the inverse, feminines, you're being asked not to necessarily point this out directly to your masculine, but to observe it, to allow the confirmation of your masculine's emotional navigation, their depth, how far they've come, what you've seen, what the Holy Spirit, what the divine shows you about your masculine, without you needing to talk about it or have them express it, verbalize it, articulate it, without them having to do that, and you just witnessing this so that you're not reaching and asking them to prove they love you, so that you can just see it for what it is, so that you can also acknowledge this, because your masculine does feel you're on the same page. It's an illusion that you're being rejected or dismissed or not acknowledged by your masculine. Just because they are not expressing through their emotions does not mean they don't have them. And you're being asked to really look at the proof. From what you know about emotions, you're meant to see that their actions, their care, their intentions, the way they're navigating is not devoid of emotion. Even when they are triggered, that's some really big feelings. And it's not that we're supposed to be devoid of emotion when we're in balance or in mastery. We are meant to utilize our emotional awarenesses in masterful ways by being fully present to them, by acknowledging them. So if your masculine is not accustomed to acknowledging how they are already navigating emotionally, you don't need them to admit it out loud for you to see it, feminines. So there's something here on the conscious mind that in order to keep stepping forward on this same page, feminines, you're going to have to see this emotional competency deepening, which goes hand in hand with the masculines acknowledging and owning their emotional reality more consciously and with accountability. So what are these masculines experiencing? What are they consciously aware of regarding their feminine? The Hanged Man. So they are feeling like everything is at a standstill, possible 3D circumstances. whatever situation you're in, it may feel like your hands are tied, or that you've been pulled apart, or that circumstances are at play beyond your control. So they're feeling like they can't access momentum quickly in this scenario, but it's clicking for them. See how their eyes are open and they're red for the root chakra. So they're, I'm wearing red, I just was remembering. And on the masculine side, it's red on this infinity sign. So there's something about the grounding, even being led to utilize that terminology for this reading about how the masculines can ground this connection more in with more conscious recognition. And I'm being drawn to the red on this card for the feminines about grounding that truth within feminines without needing the external voicing. So masculines, you're beginning to see this in a new way, how substantial your feminine is in your life, how practically they are situated in your reality. Even though it feels like things aren't moving forward or there's a standstill, there is something evident here for you masculines to see the reality of this connection being anchored firmly in the physical in some regard. And do not underestimate the spiritual alignment that required, is what I'm hearing. So give thanks to the divine that your feminine, that your connection is so firmly anchored in the material realm, because that is not by chance, I'm hearing. What are the masculines able to receive here that can further ground this? Strength. So this means overcoming the illusion. So whatever you used to be accustomed to pointing the finger at and saying XYZ is why this connection isn't moving forward, you are beginning to overcome those devil energies, masculines. And every time you notice one of those things that would look like a deal breaker, or look like things weren't working out, or look like it was going to take too long, or look like your hands were tied, or look like your feminine didn't love you, you are overcoming those obstacles, those perceptions one by one, and you are able to come into this passionate strength that says, no, I'm not going to just assume that because whatever that surface level assessment is, it means that this connection isn't permissible or available or deepening. So this is about you tapping into that strength that does not settle for the belief that you cannot progress in this connection. What is the advice for the masculines? 9 of Cups. Pay attention to what your heart is still wishing for you. And if that wish is there, but you have some kind of a other assessment that is in contrast, trust the heart. Trust that you're still wishing. Trust that you are still focused on your feminine. Even if it doesn't make sense in the physical, pay attention to the fact that your heart is still pointed at the preference for your feminine. Even if it's against all odds right now, you are overcoming some very interesting hurdles right now, I just heard. So yeah, again, this is about confirming to yourself that it's not by chance that this connection has stood the test of time, has been becoming more prominent in your reality, bit by bit, step by step, and it's taking both of you to do so. What can we see for the advice for the feminines? 8 of Swords, see the big picture. So if at any moment one or the other of you feels trapped, circumstances beyond your control, can't see how it's going to work out, rise above that and go into gratitude. See the big picture. Again, that's another inside job here, feminines. You don't need your masculine to tell you that, to articulate emotions in the way that you want them to, you can see it for what it is, even ahead of where they may be consciously aware of it. Doesn't mean it's not true. Obviously, trust your heart. If that motion of seeing truth beyond where your masculine might be at feels forced, contrived, it might not be aligned for you to do so. Please read the energy appropriately and don't create stories, fictitious stories in your head. If it's not your reading, don't make that fit. But also take this step back and look at the big picture and see if you can bring more patience, kindness, openness to your assessment of this connection, so that you're not tunnel vision on what seems or doesn't seem to be working at the moment, that you can see it in a broader context, so that you can expand your capacity and your patience, and to affirm the things that are more secure in the dynamic than the familiar ups and downs. What can we see for how the masculines are consciously aware on the heart space? Oh, the Mother of Wands. So this snake is protecting this clutch of eggs and also has this scepter, the wand, the empowerment, the shaman's stick here. So there's something deeply mature about you feminines, that your masculine sees that you take care of details, business, your own, that you do everything you can to protect your vision, your accountability, your responsibilities, and you are spiritually led. They see this staff that you wield, your spiritual awareness. On the heart space, they know that that's the only way that you continue to persevere in such a masterful and nurturing, passionate way. You don't trade off one thing for the other. You are harmonized. You are someone that does not feel like you're going to miss out if you focus on the goodness, the real things, the genuine things, the wholesome things. They see you as very wholesome, spiritually wholesome, not with an agenda, but you don't trade off certain good things for fear of losing out on the more passionate or exciting. They don't see you as someone who uses escapism. You take care of business and then some. You take care of business while living passionate. They see this, they feel this on the heart space. How can you ground this further, masculines? By bringing justice. If you can see this feminine that way, masculines, you are truly their person. This is not a surface assessment, feminine. So masculines, this is divine justice. Even if you don't know on what level the divine sees you as a soul, if you've got this feminine in your life, someone like that, and you might be feeling like they are somehow maybe on a pedestal or don't need you, this is saying, believe that this person was divinely brought to you, made for you, aligned with you, that it's divine justice. There's a blindfold on Lady Justice here, and there's an invitation for you to really drop deeply into those heart wishes, how you're assessing this incredible view of this person that you call your potential divine feminine here. Drop into your heart and really acknowledge to yourself that this is exactly the kind of person that you've been praying for, that you've wanted in your life, and start receiving that in your heart space, masculines. What is the advice for the masculines? 9 of Wands, Lord of great strength. So it takes a lot of perseverance and great strength to say yes to this level of blessing in your life. Marianne Williamson, I think, said, our greatest fear is not of failure, but of success. This is one of the most successful things you will ever say yes to in your life, masculines. And so it is about the great spiritual strength that it takes for you to feel worthy, that God, divine, would bring you someone this excellent and spiritually realized into your life. What is the advice for the feminines? Oh, the Hanged One. So here's that card of epiphany again. So feminines, you also are getting this message that this is about seeing from a step back without needing your masculine yet to profess these truths to you. You seeing the big picture, you counting your blessings, you talking to the divine about what you're witnessing in this, not necessarily needing it from the human. That time will come where you'll be able to exchange these things. But ye of little faith, you have to believe it before you can be entrusted with it. And this is the feminine letting it sink in as well, believing it, seeing it more. It's more of a question of, can you and the divine have this conversation? And can you anchor that without even needing to see the proof in the physical expressed to you? Words are hollow, you know. It doesn't matter who says or does anything. If the intention, if the motivation, if the alignment isn't there, if it's an ulterior motive or a trick or an agenda, it doesn't matter who says what or what they do. If it's hollow, it's hollow. And so this is almost the opposite of that, where we're seeing the spiritual truth even when the container isn't fully expressing that consciously or outright in some way. So faith isn't blind, but when we see through the divine lens, we are privy to things that our rational mind can't necessarily collect the material evidence for easily. Once we see the energetic thing, this is why believing is seeing. Once we see it for what it is, not what we're forcing it into the storyline of. We're not twisting and making it fit if it doesn't. But if it's actually there, if divine love is truly circulating in your connection, then you will be able to go to meditation, to prayer, to the divine, and be shown exactly how it is circulating through your connection. For those who this reading is for, your masculine sees you that way. And they are working on believing they are worthy and aren't going to screw it up if they say yes to what is being offered. And it's taking them valor, it's taking them spiritual strength to believe themselves worthy of this. So feminines, please do see it that way. Ask the divine to show you if that is your message. What can we see on the heart space for the feminines? Oh, overcoming the devil. So these masculines are firmly believing that it's not just lust, it's not just the physical attraction. There's something deeper. They're working on being shown beyond that. I just heard, let me tell you, it's been a challenge because they've been so attracted to their feminine. They've had to go through an awakening and transcend just the base energies, the sexual energies, the material realm assessment of this. It hasn't made sense in a material realm context because it is grander. It is timeless. It is soul. It cannot be just simply reduced to lust or desire. There is a greater purpose. It is opening up a an awakening for these masculines, for you masculines. So on the heart space, I just heard the heart is awake. What can the masculines do to further ground this? Ooh, celebrate your tantric queen. Start acknowledging your feminine for this divine femininity that they embody. So the Sri Yantra, the sacred geometry, is the 64 triangle sound of Om. That's the visual mathematical representation of Om, which is the voice of creation. We have the multi-dimensional arms with the crown chakra lit, and then the empowerment that can come through, and the Kundalini rising, the alignment, the power, the passion. Look at this flame on the devil's feet here. We want that to also, transmute into this crown chakra. So it's not negating the passion, but masculines, this is how your feminine looks energetically, backed by the cosmos and on fire for truth. And so in your heart of hearts, envision this person as meeting the face of the divine. This is not a karmic energy, masculines, feminines. This is your energetic truth and alignment coming in to be seen in all your glory. And your masculine is now realizing it's your spiritual essence, energy that they have been so otherworldly drawn to, magnetized to. When they try to reduce your connection to a physical attraction, it's elusive. It falls through their fingers. They cannot pinpoint this reason. But as they are starting to become their highest potential, it is qualifying them to see you accurately for who you are. What do the masculines need to know here? 3 of Wands, Lord of established strength. Wow, Lord of great strength, the Strength card, divine justice, Lord of established strength. So you haven't seen anything yet. Masculines, when you begin to truly identify, acknowledge your feminine, as you become your divine masculine self that actually, continues to deepen through the gates of emotional depth and emotional acknowledgement into the metaphysical, the spiritual, the sacred. There is a transition here that's happening that's taking this from the mundane, the sexual, the material, up through the ladder of consciousness to the sacred sexuality. And so you have established competency in the physical, survival. You have overcome adversity, and now you're into this pursuit of the higher, the wonder, the sacred. And so you have learned many lessons that will apply, but this is uncharted territory, masculines, and this is your path. What can we see for the feminine's advice here? Princess of Pentacles, take it moment to moment. You don't have to fit it all in each step. You don't have to be there already. Let it unfold naturally, sacred, with gratitude, in the way that it can, on sure footing, feminines. That's one awareness at a time, one gratitude at a time, one experience at a time, fully. Don't rush. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't harm yourself by telling yourself it should be something it's not already. Drop back into the present moment. What can you be grateful for? What can you see through the divine lens right now? Perfected through this connection. What is being revealed to you in this moment about your connection? What can you be thankful for on this journey at this time? Live in that awareness, feminines. What can we see for how these masculines are wanting to manifest? Ooh, they want to have an outpouring of their emotion. So they want to open up emotionally. They want to tell you what their awarenesses on that deeper sensitive level have been showing them on this journey. How do you ground that, masculines? By expressing what you want in this connection. So you don't have to blubber and cry and lament and humiliate yourself by looking weak. What this is saying is that it's time to start sharing your feminine with your feminine, the things that would feel like a joy to you, the foundational things that you want to include going forward, the things that you have learned on this journey mean the most to you, the pillars of your character that you want to experience in this life. It's time to start sharing with your feminine what you want to anchor and establish. It's time to start speaking your vision, your dream more clearly, sharing it more clearly. So that doesn't necessarily mean expressing sobby, sappy, simping emotion. This is literally you finally letting your feminine in on what your version of really living would look like. What is the advice? Four of Pentacles, Lord of Earthly Power. So you have gained a foundation in finances, in earthly power, and this is the dreaming bigger. This is the reason you have been brought into establishment of earthly power, masculines, because you've been diligent, because you've been accountable. Your foundation is such that it is now becoming time to start including your feminine into the bigger vision for your life. What is the advice for the feminines? Six of Pentacles. So yeah, you are being invited to stay in receptive energy. At first, you might miss some of your masculines sharing this way. At first, you might not see that it's, if they are sharing these things with you, that it is relevant, that it's you they are sharing some of these ideas with. So again, even if they're not directly saying they want you beside them in that motion, you are the one they are sharing these things with, feminines, and that is sacred. And so it's about seeing that for what it is, where it is, how it is, when that is, and being grateful. You won't be entrusted with more until you can really understand it's a choice for your masculine to include you and share and align from their side of it. And it's also a choice for you. If it does not feel good to you, you always have the prerogative to not. But if it does feel good and you're not happy with the aspects that your masculine does include you with, the divine, the universe won't bring you more quickly or at all if you're not going to be grateful for it. It will be off your radar and you won't be able to anchor more of it in. You're only given what you can handle, and if you can't be entrusted with blessing, you won't be given more. The universe will stop trying to bring you that. So really shift focus to what you can be grateful for, so that this incredible 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles is the grounding of it in the physical, so that can come to you. It's funny because we actually have the 10 of Pentacles with the 6 and the 4 here, so we have both. Interesting. I may not have spoken that out if I hadn't slipped like that. Thank you, guides. Thank you, divine. What can we see for the actions these masculines are consciously taking? They're walking away from things that don't emotionally serve. So that's the acting out, the rebellion, the karmic behaviors, the drama, making choices that aren't based in a solid foundation of truth. Anything that is rebellious or sinful or misguided, reckless, stemming from heartache, from hurt, from pain. This can also be walking away from drugs and alcohol or crutches with the wine glasses broken, saying no to those guilt, shame inducing habits and patterns, emotionally, mentally, physically. So this is the action that they're taking right now. So they're putting distance between who they have allowed themselves to be at their worst and now who they are consciously becoming and aligning with as far as their potential. How can you continue to ground this? There's the Ten of Pentacles. So this is really about, you know, in the guidebook, this person actually is afraid that all of these worldly riches that they've collected could be stolen from them. So this is a little bit of a different view of the Ten of Pentacles than other decks. So the message in that, masculines, is that if you don't have love, you don't have anything. And so I love that this is on top of the Ten of Cups, is because that's the love, the emotional experience of it. This is where you'll be, this hollow, afraid of theft motion. If you keep going on this strictly material assessment for fear of feeling emotions or pain, you'll get a hollow end result. If you open up about the emotional desires and hopes and joys that you envision, this person that is for you, masculines, your divine feminine, will be right there on the same page with those hopes and dreams and wishes and adventures as well. If on the off chance the person you're watching this for doesn't meet you on that level of celebration when you share these things, then it's simply not your person, and you're going to have to risk expressing those things so that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt if this is your person or not. You cannot just keep tippy-toeing in the material realm without acknowledging the depth here and expect to have the Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, full meal deal in love. What can we see for advice for the masculines? King of Cups, be very transparent with your emotions to yourself. Start there. What can we see for the feminines? Ooh, the Tower. Regardless of what is, I heard transfiguring, conspiring, swirling around you, sink into your heart of peace. So right now you may be feeling eruptions, energetic eruptions. You might be feeling your masculine having epiphanies. You might be feeling your masculine writhing with ego, trying to escape this, putting down the ego, coming into strength, overcoming the devil. Like they are just now overcoming the devil energies. Are we in Capricorn season, just going into it? This is where the going gets real. And so feminines, let divine higher guidance come in every moment and bring you peace. Don't tell yourself defeatist storylines. Don't go into suffering. Hold the light. Let your assessment of energies, of frequencies, be storyline free. Just keep dropping into peace. Find a way to anchor peace. Direct your attention, your focus towards first person productive things. If you're feeling your masculine's energy all over the place and acting out, attempting to find a new norm, let them. Give them space right now to do that. If they approach, if they communicate, speak from that point of peace. React from that point of peace. Don't mirror back anything that isn't love right now. But if your masculine is coming in and beginning to share their vision more sincerely with you, stay in the grounded, peaceful reflection so that you're not adding any kind of untruth into the dynamic as a reflection. If you can see where your masculine is at and forgive them their clumsiness, if you start to see them coming out of their shell, showing the world the real them in a new way, that's a developmental process, and do not shut them down. Do not tell them it's not good enough. Do not let it rock your peace. You've come through worse, I'm hearing the divine say. You've got this. Allow the process of it. Your masculine is making major emotional strides right now. and in your general direction. If you want this, open your heart and become receptive to what it's going to look like as they come out of their shell. Oh, wow. What is the biggest challenge these masculines are facing? Stepping into this shamanic embodiment, this temple embodiment, matching you feminines, matching their Queen of Wands. The challenge is sensing, perceiving, following this lightning. This lightning comes in storms. So these masculines have never been in this level of maneuvering before. The snake has the tongue out, sensing things, the vibration of change coming in, the taste of this momentum and the winds of change. This is the challenge, is that their faculties are coming on board. All of their senses are heightening. They've never been here before through their own volition. They have been people pleasers. They have been living up to expectations, falsehoods, predictive programming. They are now standing on their own, listening to the voice of the divine with their own empowerment at hand, and in uncharted territory, for the first time trusting themselves well enough to navigate it sight unseen. Wow, masculines, this is your challenge. How do you continue grounding? Keep going towards your bliss, what your heart is telling you. This is that wish fulfillment. If you're going to utilize your senses to taste the air in the direction of your deepest wishes. Without further ado, what is the advice for the masculines here? Princess of Cups, Princess of the Palace of the Floods. Surrendering. This is about you letting go of control and honoring, acknowledging the direction of your wish fulfillment and continuing to go towards that. Every time you're shown what your next step can be, masculines, it is saying yes to it. What is the advice for the feminines here? The star in the inverse immediately. So right now in real time, there are steps your masculine is being guided to take that is drawing the two of you together more firmly in your shared destined path. Your cosmic birthright, your starseed mission, the promise of this union. As your masculine is guided by their heart and soul's knowing, it's bringing them in real time closer to you. And that could actually be them traveling right now towards you. Masculines, this is about surrendering to the process and allowing yourself permission to go forward towards your dreams, to believe they won't be stolen from you, to believe you can do this, to believe that the divine has brought you into alignment with this feminine who is your rightful counterpart. Embarking on the sacred, I just heard. What can we see for the solution here? Paying attention to the energetic truths that you're getting. Here's that lightning strike again here, and all these wands. So this is you being the light, the change you wish to see in your world, masculines. This is not about getting your intel from your feminine or external sources. This is you nailing it, getting these very precise steps of guidance that only you can go. It's uncharted, it's a trail map from the divine to you. It's like a love letter from the divine for your path, and you're unpacking that each step of the way. You will have confirmation, I just heard, because you will see themes. This is like you and your choices being the common denominator with a lot of different people, places, things. reflected back to you in common themes. So every time you're given an instruction, masculines, you're going to see that that instruction factors in at least 7, 8 different areas of your life, that it's unilateral, that when you're given a divine instruction, something that you are meant to do on your highest timeline, your highest potential, you will see it influence and factor into every walk of your life. And so you know that it's for your higher good when it is relevant in all these ways. You will know that it is a master solution if it makes all of these ways better in your life. So the divine is saying, watch for the type of genius, stroke of genius, that makes all the difference in every way across the board in your life. How do you ground this further? You transition away from dead-end energies. If there are people, places, and things that cannot join you in the ascension that served a purpose, be grateful for those things, but do not be afraid to sacrifice anything that you have been clinging to for a false sense of security. You are meant to make your steps forward when you see divine instruction, making all of these things better. If you are meant to let go of certain people, places, and things, give up the fight to cling to those things. You are safe where you are going. Go towards the light, masculines. Ascend. Don't fear that better won't be available to you, because where you're going, the future's so bright you have to wear shades, I just heard. What is the advice for these masculines? 8 of Wands, it's the same card in the inverse. Lord of Swiftness. It's not a rush. It's thorough. This says Lord of Swiftness. It's in the inverse. So be thorough. Seek to add righteousness to your life. You're not going to run out of time to go towards what is for you. But if you cut corners and carpet sweep or try to bring sketchy, shady, sneaky, lower vibe, anything, weak energy along with you, you will be held back. Your manifestations will screech to a halt. Or worse, more than that, would be you get somewhere with your manifestations and then it's haunting you because you didn't actually release what you were meant to leave behind. That's why sometimes people make great strides and then lose everything, because they didn't learn the foundational lesson that would allow them to feel worthy of that abundance for the long term. So they had to have a humbling again. So masculines, you're being instructed to do this right from the get-go and to not cut corners or pretend you're further ahead than you are. If you can identify any imposter syndrome or any insecurities, oh, I just heard, talk to your feminine about some of that stuff. Really work through it with the divine. There are ways that you can be vulnerable and transparent and honest emotionally with your sensitivities without having to pretend like you have it all figured out or pretend you're further ahead than you are. You don't have to rush. You don't have to save face. You don't have to pretend. So let go of anything that's false, masculines, and really just relax into the safety that if you're listening to this reading to this degree, you truly are sacred and chosen and loved and on the right track. What is the advice for the feminines? 6 of Swords, this is progress. This is mindset shift, paradigm shift. So I'm just hearing it's all going to start making more and more sense. The timing, the ways that certain things didn't work out, the clarity coming in. This can be conversations that you and your counterpart are going to start to have as you merge lives even more, as your shared vision crystallizes, as you are both more sovereign and spiritually guided equally. It's not one having more power over the other or deferring to the other. This is 2 self-realized spiritual masters aligning in their truth and being able to hold each other accountable in love. but not because one or the other isn't matured yet in those ways. Because love has relationship, because we get to experience the joy of reaching our full potential and sharing that with somebody who's also doing that motion of living to the fullest, being in their purpose, loving with their whole heart. Thank you for these messages, divine. What can we see for the near future? These masculines are, divine downloads, these keys of consciousness, these lightning strikes. We get it again. Lightning is striking 3 times in a row, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times a charm. So it comes in threes. Masculines, you're going to get 3 major aha moments in the near future. Whatever those, I'm hearing whatever those aha moments are, act on it. This is you beginning to really feel soul level confidence in what you're being shown. You're going to have success. The time is now, I heard. What is the advice to ground this? The star. Your destiny is that way, masculines. Go forth, masculines. You get these 3 lightning strikes, and it's not 3 strikes, you're out. It's on your marks, get set, go. That way, towards your feminine, towards your destiny. On my table, it's like this messenger, these keys are being given to you, masculines, and it's going towards your feminine. What is your advice in this regard? King of Swords, that's communication. This says Prince of the Chariots of the Winds. So the winds of change are upon you, and only your spirit knows, your own inner guidance. It does feel like something is about to be go time here, masculines. What do the feminines need to know? The moon, it happens when you least suspect it. So here we are, yin yang, these 2 wolves howling under the same moon. And we have 2 pillars, mercy, humility, like the high priestess. But this is the secrets. This is the final hour, the deepest knowing, the subconscious awareness. This is to the depths. This is cosmic. We've got the star pointing, the divine pointing this star path of destiny, this instruction. And masculines, you're not going to be given the wording or the action steps ahead of time. With this King of Swords, which is precision, thought, and action, that is not being given ahead of time. This is, doesn't mean being spastastic and spontaneous in a haphazard kind of way. This is going to be elegant, but it is coming, and it does feel like it's not something that your feminine is going to expect, and it's not something that you're going to expect either ahead of time. It's just going to be spontaneous. Let's get one more message. This is why, feminines, you can't rely on thinking your masculine knows what's up and harboring that from you. We're clearly seeing here that divine guidance, the high priest, this information comes when the alignment is struck. And then the masculines who have embodied these spiritual awarenesses and integrity and character and righteousness can respond because they are free of spirit to do so. So masculines, it's no small undertaking to position yourself in the right alignment, to act on the blessings when they are presented to you and divinely confirmed. This is how you unlock miracles. This is how we do it. What can we see? Advice for the feminines watching. On one hand, we get Temple of Meditation, Communion, Contemplation, Higher Mind. So pray without ceasing. Run everything incoming and outgoing through higher guidance. And path change, paradigm shift, adjustment. So something's going to happen in the near future that's going to reconfigure your life and love. I just heard. What can we see for the masculines? Chakra, Kabbalah, spiritual path, life lessons, and karma. So this is your tree of life. This is your Up-leveling, I heard you're pruning. So there are things that you are continuing to prune so that you can produce fruit in your life, masculines. And, you know, in order to produce fruit, you have to cross-pollinate. And this looks like you're about to start cross-pollinating with your feminine on a spiritual level. Wow. Okay. Many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.